Come, Nerevar, come. We have gone over some extremely unhinged, non-playable characters from Morrowind, Oblivion, and real life. Without further delay, as you know, there has been quite a bit of a delay because I am currently in Ephesus. Let us go over the most unhinged Skyrim NPCs. First on the list we have Cicero, an imperial mongrel dog, obsessed with Dark Brotherhood activities and the Night Mother, on a level only found in Psycho. His backstory is quite sad, and to an extent mirrors the story of Lucien Lachance. He goes insane once the whole Cheydinhal sanctuary is eliminated. He pretends to be the adoring fan, and once he is in Skyrim, Astrid, the Astrid Simp Club leader, sees him as a threat to her leadership. Anyhow, the Dragonborn has a choice either to end him or spare him to indulge in his unhinged shenanigans. While I understand his loyalty to Sithis and the Night Mother, those two false gods, I do not think they excuse his unhinged behavior. In fact, I would not blame the Dragonborn for getting rid of him, not just because of his unhinged behavior. I mean, seriously, Nazir wants to get rid of him because of his excessive dancing. Truly, he belongs in the realm of the Shivering Isles. The second most unhinged NPC is the Breton Eola, the one-eyed worshipper of Namira that can be found in Markarth. Ah, Nerevar, this one is the most problematic NPC since Jeffrey Dunmer from Oblivion. You remember who I'm talking about, Nerevar. You see, Eola is all about food and gourmet cuisines. However, she eats enwas and farm tools, and will teach the Dragonborn how to do the same thing. She leads a whole coven of cannibals. She has even tasted Draugr. Who in their right mind would even try that, Nerevar? I assume she would at Corpus Flesh, too. What a grand and intoxicating innocence. Is that how she would honor the Sixth House and the tribe unmourned, by eating Corpus Flesh? I will address this coven at a later point, but there are some other unhinged NPCs in her little organization that won't make the list. Nerevar, don't forget to honor the Sixth House and the tribe unmourned by raising your thumbs, subscribing to my sermons, and writing on the parchment down below. Otherwise, Falanu Hlalu will visit you tonight. Next is all the Hagravens and all the NPCs that aspired to become Hagravens. Honestly, Nerevar, they require their own sermon because there are many reasons to hate them. Seriously, these are some of the worst Enwa farm tool hybrids out there. Moira, a Hagraven that wants to marry the Dragonborn. Her sister Anise, who wants to create a witch's coven. Sisters Melka and Petra and the affairs of Hagravens is also quite the tedious task. Ilia, working to slay her mother Sylvia, who wants to become a Hagraven, and many other unhinged affairs of the Hagravens. You get the gist of it. That's going to be coming soon, Nerevar. Let's not forget Narfi, a target of the Dark Brotherhood. There was a whole mystery surrounding his sister Rhaeda, and why she might have perished. There was a lot of suspicion falling on Narfi, and someone also wanted him dead. That Enwa detective Camelworks has quite a bit of content on this topic, and multiple compelling theories regarding what happened to Rhaeda, and why there was a contract on Narfi. All I know, he is an unhinged, raving lunatic who does not honor the Sixth House and the tribe unmourned. I would definitely argue my fellow Dunmer Neloth and his experiments are quite unhinged. He might be an intelligent Dunmer from the somewhat respected House Telvanni, but just like Cicero, that does not take away from the fact that he is unhinged. He tried making hearts from the remnants of Red Mountain, and he used that on his assistant to resurrect her. He thought the experiment failed, but in reality, it resurrected her. She rightfully tried to end him, but to no avail. Somehow, the mongrel dog, Falx Carius, also got one of those hearts, who was not unhinged in Morrowind, but did become unhinged in Skyrim. Ah, Hamelyn, such is the plight of the unhinged. His ideas, once seen as groundbreaking and innovative, were dismissed as being too dangerous, too irresponsible. No one could see the potential, the greatness that his experiments could have brought to the world of magic. Instead, he was cast out, relegated to the darkness of the tunnels connecting the Honningbrew meadery to the boilery. But in those dark and damp chambers, he continued to experiment, to push the boundaries of what was considered possible. His venom-fang skeevers may have been seen as abominations by some, but to him they were his greatest creations, his magnum opus. He saw the potential in these creatures, and with them he would have shown the world that his ideas were not as dangerous as they thought, that he had the means to push the limits of magic to new heights. But alas, it was not to be. In the end, his unhinged mind was snuffed out, and his experiments were left unfinished. In other words, he was a worthless Enwa. Next is Septimus Signus, a tragic figure if there ever was one. His desire to study the Elder Scrolls, to comprehend the mysteries of the world, was admirable, but ultimately proved too much for his fragile mind to handle. The sheer power contained in those ancient scrolls was simply too much for him to bear, driving him into a state of near madness. Yet even in his crazed ramblings there remained snippets of genius, whispers of a cube containing the heart of Lorkhan. But it was all too late. His mind had been shattered beyond repair, leaving him a mere shadow of the great scholar he once was. Wylandriah, what a character! A forgetful little Lenoir Bosmer mage who tends to chat with herself and is absolutely obsessed with research. She's always misplacing things around the city and seems to have more enthusiasm than sense. The poor thing gets absolutely fixated on her research, often to the point of forgetting to eat and sleep. Bosmer are always unhinged, Nerevar. Not to go over Dark Brotherhood as much, but they tend to have a lot of unhinged characters in their midst. Babette the Forever Child seems to be using all the classical movie tropes from Interview with the Vampire and Let Me In to lure her perverted prey and finish it off. You know she is not as unhinged as everyone else on the list, but her whole existence is unhinged, as well as her victims. Let us move on to mongrel dog Calixto Corium. He is an unhinged one indeed. Calixto and his sister Lucilla lived a life of luxury and adventure. They traveled the land, amassing a collection of rare artifacts such as the Book of Fate, the Dancer's Flute, and Ysgramor's Soup Spoon. Their travels brought them great joy and excitement until Lucilla unexpectedly passed away one day. Heartbroken by her loss, Calixto honored her memory by opening a curiosity shop in Windhelm, showcasing their treasured collection and keeping her memory alive. Calixto's grief from the loss of his sister, Lucilla, led him on a dark path. He began to practice necromancy in secret, hoping to bring her back to life. As part of the ritual, he, mildly put, got rid of several young women in Windhelm, using what remained of them to perform the spells he needed. He kept a diary detailing the elements required for the magic to work. He also acquired a necromancer's amulet and Nordic embalming tools for his crimes. He even planned to get rid of Susanna the Wicked, taking her tendons for use in his ritual. It was a twisted and disturbing act, and it earned him the nickname the Butcher. However, he hid his crimes well, leaving only whispers of his dark deeds in the shadows of Windhelm. He even took up residence in Hierim, using the house for his ritual. While Sheogorath and his minions are a separate category, I want to ask you, Nerevar, have you ever heard about the tragedy of Pelagius the Mad? A cautionary tale indeed. It's almost enough to make one feel sorry for the poor fellow. All that power and the madness to go with it. Even as a boy, Pelagius showed signs of the madness that would consume him. He was a creature of contradictions, charming yet erratic, intelligent yet impulsive. These traits, however, were largely ignored, masked by his status as a prince and the political turmoil of the time. When Pelagius was 10, his uncle Sepphoris I seized the imperial throne, plunging Tamriel into another decade of war. After Sepphoris's victory, he foolishly placed the mongrel dog on the throne of solitude, a decision that would prove disastrous. Pelagius's reign as King of Solitude was marked by bizarre behavior and erratic decisions. He imprisoned foreign dignitaries, tore off his clothes in public, and even attacked his own subjects. Despite these alarming signs, the empire turned a blind eye, blinded by their ambition and the political alliances Pelagius's marriage to the Dunmer Cataria Rathim offered. In Third Era 145, Pelagius ascended to the imperial throne, a position he was utterly unfit for. His reign was a farce, a puppet show orchestrated by his wife and the Elder Council, who desperately tried to conceal his madness from the rest of Tamriel. But the truth could not be hidden forever. Pelagius's eccentricities escalated into full-blown insanity. He spoke in gibberish to foreign ambassadors, used the floor of the White Gold Tower as a Khajiit farm tool litter box, and even bit his own subjects. Eventually, he was confined to an asylum on the Isle of Bethany, where he spent the rest of his pathetic life. The mongrel dog of the Empire died in Third Era 179, a mad king in a madhouse. His reign was a stain on the history of the Septim dynasty, a testament to the Empire's blindness and the folly of their ambition. Even in death, Pelagius' legacy continues to haunt Tamriel, a reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the Empire's gilded facade. Of course, we could say that Ulfric Stormcloak and some of the Thalmor are unhinged, but I will make a separate tier list of the unhinged. There are quite a few of those. For now, Nerevar, don't forget to honor the Sixth House and the tribe unmourned by raising your thumbs, subscribing to my sermons, and writing on the parchment below. I thank my loyal patrons for not being needies. Special thanks to the adoring fan Connor, Runda, and immense gratitude to this realm's Sharma Tanya Davis.